my toys.
Hey, this is D Hunter bringing another action figure review. Today we're going to be looking at the Mattel DC Multiverse Shazam movie Dr. Sivana figure. I just saw this figure at Walmart today, and I was very happy I did. Shazam figures, there's only 2 figures for the movie, and that's Shazam and Dr. Sivana. And these come in a box of 6 figures, 5 Shazams and 1 Dr. Sivana. So I figured he'd be a little bit cumbersome to track down. I just happened to see a full case on the shelf. They must have put it out earlier today. So this is an upcoming film that's going to be part of the DC Cinematic Universe. This is their interpretation of him, completely different than what he looks like from the comics. I mostly bought him because I think he could be a regular guy or doctor or scientist in my action figure world. And this might be how I actually portray Dr. Sivana in my Batman world. So let's check out the packaging here. Dr. Sivana, Shazam movie logo. You can see him, the actor here. He's got sort of a scar on his face. He does come with 2 different heads, a scar and sunglasses. DC Multiverse, of course, is in the newer packaging. One side, we've got the actor, Shazam. Other side, exact same thing. Absolutely nothing on top. The bottom, just a bunch of junk, barcode, etc. On the back side, you see the entire wave, which is just these 2 figures. This guy does come with, like I said, 2 heads, 4 hands, and an 8-ball. I think that's kind of interesting and kind of cool. So, with no further ado, let's go ahead and open this guy up and just see how cool he is. Alright, well now that we got this figure out of the package, here he is with all of his accessories laid out. Looks like he comes with 2 heads, 4 hands, and an 8-ball. So this is a figure from the upcoming Shazam movie, which comes out, I want to say, April 5th. This is not what Dr. Sivana looks like to me. To me, he's always in that white lab sort of jacket, glasses, pointy ears, kind of elfish looking. This is, I don't know if this is a New 52 version or a Rebirth version, or if this is just something totally unique for the DC Cinematic Universe. But fortunately for me, it gets me another regular kind of looking figure. This is kind of like how I would imagine Dr. Sivana in perhaps the Arkham universe. Kind of more realistic for Batman, which appeals to me greatly. So before we look at the accessories, let's check out the actual figure. Pretty nice looking guy, kind of reminds you of Luthor, the bald head, villain, etc. So on the left side here, he's got a scar down his face. You can barely see it, it's very, very minor. And this eye is blue, as if it's, I don't know, perhaps dead or blind, whereas this one is not that color, it's kind of standard. So in his outfit, kind of light brown dress-up shirt. He's got a blue sort of sport jacket type thing with a black coat on top, some kind of plastic looking fur on top. This is made with a very thin material. I think it'd be great for a cape. It's a little bit thinner than the previous DC Universe Classics and Multiverse cape and coat type things. I notice he's double jointed knees. I like a lot of the features for him. Mattel seems to definitely be trying something new and continually upping their quality and articulation on these guys. One thing I will say, when I saw this guy at the store, I was pretty happy because I kind of kept in the back of my mind that I wanted this guy. But it kind of makes me a little bit sad. Multiverse is coming to an end. 2019 should be the final year for DC Multiverse figures, and they've been doing them for so long. I'm definitely going to miss them. Hope McFarlane does a great job replacing Mattel with the Multiverse line. Little surprise figures like this guy are not going to be much longer, so let's go ahead and check out his accessories next. Here he is broken down as far as he can go with all of his removable pieces removed. Like I said before, 2 heads, 4 hands, and an 8-ball. First of all, let's look at the hands. He has 2 fisted hands, and then he's got 2 open hands. These are the ones that the figure actually came with and are going to be my default hands for him. You can see he has a gold pinky ring onto either one of his right hands. And then he also has 2 heads. Like we looked at before, this is the head, his default head with no glasses, has one sort of scarred eye. And then of course we have the other head, him wearing sunglasses. I'm sure he's going to sport both these heads in the film. And then here he is with his head with the sunglasses on. Next, let's check out this guy's 8-ball accessory. I don't know what the significance is for this 8-ball in the film. Presumably he carries it around, hits people with it, I have no idea. But it's actually pretty cool. I have a couple of custom-made pool tables I bought on eBay a long time ago, and their pool balls were not as detailed as this one. I noticed it can fit either one of his hands. In his other hand. Pretty nice, if I may say so. Here is Dr. Sivana holding his 8-ball in the background of a little bit of a pool hall scene. Bunch of biker type guys playing pool, drinking some beers, having a good time. These are some kind of cheapo pool tables I bought on eBay. The quality was not quite as good as I was hoping for, and the pool sticks as well as the balls are a little bit oversized for the pool tables. Dr. Sivana's ball actually works out a little bit better. Here he is holding both the 8-ball he came with and one of the balls that came with this cheapo pool table. As you can see, his actually has a number 8 on it and is a lot smaller than that one, which is completely blank. And then I wouldn't exactly call it an accessory, but if your heart desires, you can take his jacket off. Very soft material. Put his arms kind of backward. Go ahead and slide it off. So if you wanted him to hang up his jacket or whatnot, of course the figure itself wouldn't work this way, as his arms have the jacket sleeves. But if you repainted them blue, they would actually kind of match because he has a sport jacket type thing underneath. Next, let's check out the height of this figure. This is a DC Universe Classics Multiverse scale figure from Mattel. They run about 6 inches or so. This guy here looks like he's sitting at about 6 1/3 inches. I do appreciate the fact that he's more in scale with the DC Universe Classics versus their movie figures, which are often smaller. Next, let's check out this guy's articulation. So of course his head, it's going to go around. Doesn't really tilt from side to side at all. It goes down about that far and up about that far with just the head by itself. Of course, if you combine the ab crunch, you can look down substantially and look up substantially as well. His shoulders can go out more than 90 degrees, which is very nice. I must say Mattel is definitely improving their articulation, and what a shame this close to the end they're finally starting to do things right. You can go all the way around, out, etc. He's got a bicep cut here. He's got single jointed elbows, but they do go quite a bit more than 90 degrees. And there's no hinge there. His wrists, of course, they can move around. They're also removable, and there's a hinge there where they can go in and out. He's got an ab crunch, of course, and a very nice range of motion there. Then he's got a waist swivel. Then his legs, they would go out a little further, but his soft material here is obstructing it a little bit. Up, down, etc. He does have a sort of thigh cut inside of there. Double jointed knees. Thank you. Mattel does not do that too often, although it's becoming more the norm versus the exception nowadays. And then of course his feet doesn't really seem to have a tilt to it. They can go around and of course up and down as well. Next, I would like to compare him to a bunch of different DC action figures and different action figure lines. Let's go ahead and start off with the DC Direct Original Dr. Sivana. This is a comic style Dr. Sivana from the old school. I've had this guy for a really long time. I bought him kind of with the intent to use as a scientist or whatnot. Didn't exactly kind of work out. His ears are pretty odd. Many years ago my son ripped his glasses off and I haven't actually reattached them quite yet. But as you can see, quite a bit of differences between the original comic style Dr. Sivana and the DC Cinematic Universe Dr. Sivana. I don't think, or I really have no idea if this is how he is in the comics nowadays, But to me, this is not how Dr. Sivana looks, and to me it's going to be very easy to use him as a different character in the Gotham action figure world that I have. Here he is next to some action figures that I consider scientist-like in my action figure collection. I believe this woman is from Battlestar Galactica. Then we've got the Dr. Harleen Quinzel, Dr. Sivana, a couple of Riddler Diamond Select Gotham figures, and then some Ghostbuster scientist figures. Here he is next to some various Dr. Hugo Strange figures. Here he is next to a custom Dr. Death Batman Rogue from the old school comics, and also Professor Pig. Maybe not exactly a doctor, but he sure does his own surgeries. Here he is next to a Multiverse and DC Universe Classics figure for hype purposes. On the far left, we've got the Multiverse Wonder Woman Steve Trevor. And on the right hand side, we've got an old school DC Universe Classics Bruce Wayne figure. It's a Bruce Wayne head put onto a Clark Kent body. I absolutely love the fact that Dr. Sivana is DC Universe Classics size, completely full height, the same as a tall Clark Kent figure. Here he is next to some regular suited Mafex figures, just a tiny bit shorter than him. Here he is next to some Marvel Legends, kind of regular looking guys. These guys scale up pretty similarly to the Mafex figures and are just a tiny bit shorter than Sivana. Here he is next to some Mattel WWE figures, both basic and elite. Here he is next to some various NECA action figures. Here he is next to some McFarlane action figures. Cannot wait to see what McFarlane Toys is going to do with the Multiverse line. Here he is next to some various Diamond Select action figures from 4 different Diamond Select lines. So all in all, I must say, I'm pretty fond of this action figure. When I first saw him teased online, I thought to myself, hey, I have to get this guy. He looks like a regular person. And I was really happy when I came across him in the store. Of course, he is pack 1 out of every 6 figures you get him. The percentage is something like 16% chance that you'll have this figure versus actual Shazam. To me, he's different enough from Dr. Sivana to work for my purposes in my collection. I will probably use him as Dr. Sivana, but sort of a real world-ish, regular guy-ish sort of version. If I were to rate this figure, I'd probably give it a 6.5. No, I'll give it a solid 7 out of 10, where for my unique action figure desires and collecting purposes, this guy works great. So this is D Hunter. Thank you guys for watching this video. If you liked it, press like below. If you have anything you want to say about the video, please add to the comments. If you want to see additional reviews from me, please press subscribe. Once again, this is D Hunter. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll talk to you guys real soon.